I'm here talking with Dr. Jim Denison, Associate Professor in the Faculty of Physical Education and Recreation at the University of Alberta in Edmonton. He is also Director of the Canadian Athletics Coaching Centre, author and editor of many papers and publications that cover the subject of sport and coaching science. He competed in the NCAA Division I for the University of Toledo and owns a 1,500-meter personal best time of 3:44.5. He is the organizer of the 2011 Canadian National Endurance Conference. Thank you, Jim, for taking the time to talk with me about the conference. Do you consider the conference to be a success, and how would you measure the success?
It's certainly a success in terms of getting the endurance community in Canada excited about learning and coming together to share ideas and knowledge. We sold out this conference, so we have a capacity crowd, enthusiasm around the rooms, around the breakout areas, during the coffee breaks. I can see is fantastic. A lot of ideas out there, a lot of concepts being discussed. I see the presenters opening people's eyes towards new ways of thinking, new theories, new methodologies. So as a weekend, very successful. What I'm going to be excited to evaluate is the long-term impact of this conference. We want to see ultimately some of the ideas coming out in this conference affecting change on coaches' practices across the country so that they are more effective with their athletes and we see better performance levels in Canadian endurance running.
And so how much work went into putting this together?
Yeah, and actually in October 2010, so more than a year ago, when I decided I really wanted to have a conference that had a great, captivating keynote speaker that would really excite people to come out to Vancouver for this conference. So I traveled down to Portland, Oregon to meet with Alberto Salazar, coming up to Canada for the first time as a presenter. He's been here before as an athlete and a coach, but first time as a presenter to share some of the work they're doing at the Nike Oregon project with Canadian coaches. So that was more than a year ago to get Alberto on board. He agreed to that and was excited to sort of travel a very short distance from Portland to talk to us. Then we began putting the other presenters together, and it was really important to have a mixture of international presenters and Canadian presenters. Presenters that could talk about working with athletes at the elite level, working with athletes at the high school level, working at a range of distances, 800, 1,500 meters, 5,000, 10,000 meters, and also road running, because endurance events encompass a wide array of events. Also wanted to get examples of working with male athletes, female athletes, male coaches, female coaches. So to put the entire mixture together to really try to create a balanced program that would cater to the broad endurance needs of Canadian coaches took more than a year.
That's a lot of work, and it sounds like, and it seems like it was a success, but obviously you're going to, like you said, measure that success down the road when, I guess, coaches and what have you apply the knowledge that they learned here this weekend. And so how will that be done by survey?
Yeah, so we'll be doing some surveys, also through our coach development manager, Wes Moorman, whose job is to sort of follow up on learning activities that we organize in our center. He'll be following up with branch leaders and technical directors in the branches and the coaches themselves who attended in terms of debriefing and getting a sense of what they learned. So as a simple example of how we'll do that, we funded 5 coaches from Edmonton. So our center is based at the University of Alberta in Edmonton. Through a grant we received, we fully funded 5 Edmonton coaches to come out to the conference. That's a couple of reasons. One, to support local coaches in Edmonton, but also we can then really see how those coaches have learned or changed from this conference. So we've scheduled part of their agreement in accepting the money to come to this conference is to come back to a few feedback sessions where they tell us how they're applying what they learned or not, or whether they wanted different types of presentations that would have helped them develop their coaching skills. And then we'll be doing that with some other nationally funded coaches that we put through this conference, and also some wider surveys that try to hit everybody.
When will Canadian coaches get another opportunity to visit a conference like this again?
Well, we do one every year. Last year, 2010, we did a national sprints conference in Toronto. This was the endurance conference this year in Vancouver. Next year, we're going to be doing, it's going to be kind of couched as a speed power combined events conference. So we're trying to bring the jumpers, throwers, and kind of combined events people together. That'll be in Calgary, and the tentative date for that start date is November 30th.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Jim Denison, and good luck with your next event.
My pleasure, Chris. I'm a fan of FlowTrack, and keep up the great work.
Thank you.